All right, so you've heard about the race to build flying electric cars, right? These EVTLs? Well, most companies are just sprinting, going all out. But there's this one company in the UK, Vertical Aerospace, and they're playing a totally different game. They're betting that, slow and steady, that's what actually wins the race. So let's get into their super interesting strategy.
And really, this is the big question, isn't it? While everyone else is rushing to just get something in the air, Vertical is taking this super calculated, methodical approach. They're betting it's going to pay off in the long run. It's really the story of the tortoise in a field full of hares.
And get this, their entire bet, everything they've been working on is about to be put to the test. We're talking within weeks. There's this one single critical flight that could prove their whole philosophy right or wrong. It's a huge moment for them. Okay, so let's start right there with that moment of truth, because this isn't just another test flight. No way, this is the grand finale of a massive test campaign, and it's all happening with their home regulator watching every single move.
So this is the maneuver everyone in the industry is watching. It's called the transition flight. And what is that? Well, just imagine a helicopter taking off, right? Straight up. And then, boom, in midair, it just seamlessly turns into an airplane. The propellers pivot, the wings take over, and suddenly it's way faster and a whole lot more efficient. To pull this off with a pilot on board and under full regulatory oversight, that's an industry first. It would put Vertical way, way ahead of pretty much everyone else.
You see this high-stakes, super regulated test? It tells you everything you need to know about their core strategy. While their competitors are flying around on what are basically experimental permits, Vertical chose a much, much harder path right from the get-go. And maybe a much smarter one.
And this quote from the company just says it all. Our approach has always been start slow to finish fast. What do they mean by that? Well, they truly believe that by doing all the tough regulatory work up front, they're actually de-risking the entire project. They're building a clear, reliable road to getting their aircraft certified and actually flying with passengers.
And you can really see the difference here. On one side, in the UK, you've got Vertical front-loading all that hard work with the regulators. They're earning these tough approvals that basically show a ton of confidence in their process. Then you look at many of their US competitors. They're taking a faster route for sure, but it's also a lot riskier, with way less direct oversight. Vertical is betting that all this early pain will give them a much clearer, much more certain shot at hitting their 2028 certification goal.
But, getting certified is only half the battle. The aircraft actually has to make money for the airlines who buy it, right? And the VX4, man, it wasn't just designed to fly. It was designed from day one to be an absolute profit machine.
So, where does that start? It starts with space. The VX4's passenger cabin is a staggering 70% larger than its competitors. And this isn't just about extra legroom, no. This is a fundamental design choice that unlocks some incredible economic potential.
Because of that bigger cabin, the VX4 is the only aircraft in its class that can scale from 4 to 6 passengers. Think about what that means for an airline. You're looking at a potential 50% jump in revenue on every single flight. That's a massive deal. And it gets even better. When you fly with 6 passengers, the cost per seat mile drops by 30%. I mean, these are the kind of numbers that can completely change the game for the world's biggest airlines and operators. It all comes down to the unit economics, and Vertical seems to have nailed it.
So you might be asking, how in the world can they afford to do all this? Well, by being incredibly smart with their money. Instead of trying to reinvent the wheel for every single component, Vertical went with what they call an asset-light model. Basically, they decided to partner with the absolute best in the business.
And it's a really simple but powerful model. Step 1. Vertical designs the aircraft and its core systems. Step 2. They go out and source all the critical safety parts, like flight control computers, from these huge, proven global aerospace suppliers, companies that have been doing this for decades. And that lets them do Step 3. Focus all their cash on the most important things, which are integration, assembly, and of course, certification. And the result of all this? A dramatically lower cost to get to market. Vertical figures they'll spend about $1.1 billion to get certified. And their US competitors? They're on track to spend at least double that. We're talking $2.5 billion. That is a massive, massive difference in how efficiently they're using their capital.
Okay, so this brings us to a really fascinating puzzle. Because despite all this progress, despite the smart strategy, the market seems to be looking at Vertical very, very differently than its peers.
I mean, just look at these numbers. They're staggering. Vertical's market cap is just a tiny fraction.
We're talking as low as 3 to 6% of its main competitors. Now, why is that? Well, the market could be pricing in the fact that their rigorous regulatory path seems slower, or maybe there's uncertainty about future funding. But you can imagine how the company feels about this. They think this valuation just doesn't add up.
The company's chairman, John Slattery, he puts it pretty bluntly. He says the gap is simply startling. In our opinion, this gap is entirely unwarranted. Basically, he's saying that when you look at all the metrics that actually matter, the tech, the capital efficiency, the real progress on certification, Vertical is outperforming, and he believes their upcoming milestones are going to force the market to take a second look.
But the story doesn't stop with flying taxis in the city. Oh no. Vertical has another massive market in its sights, and this one could be even bigger. We're talking about defense.
So, their next prototype is due in just a few weeks, and by mid-2026, it's set to be retrofitted for hybrid flight tests. This is huge, because it gives them a massive first-mover advantage. They seem to be the only EVTL company whose current aircraft can actually handle a gas turbine without a major, costly redesign. And for defense agencies, this hybrid aircraft could be a total game-changer. Think about it. You get the stealth of a silent electric takeoff and landing, which is perfect for covert operations, but then you combine that with the power and 1,000-kilometer range of a gas turbine. That unique blend of silence and endurance is exactly why governments across Europe are already starting to pay very close attention.
So we end up right back where we started. Vertical's path has been patient, it's been deliberate. They focused on regulation, on economics, and on smart spending. Now, with a pivotal flight test just around the corner and a massive new market opening up, their whole start slow to finish fast strategy is about to be put to the ultimate test. The real question is this the moment the smartest tortoise finally proves it can beat all the faster hares?